The Armada Whitewalker was released in 2021 as Sammy Carlson's pro model ski alongside the Whitewalker 121. Since its release, there's been a new Whitewalker 116 every year from then, but there's only really been one iteration of the 121. The first time I used the Armada Whitewalker 116 was actually last year, years after using the Armada ARV 116 JJ and even the Armada Whitewalker 121 for a season before that. But I figured it was time to finally try out the Armada Whitewalker 116 because I really did love the Whitewalker 121 a lot. It's honestly quickly became my most favorite ski and really my go-to daily driver when I need something to ski deep pow, chutes, steeps, or really just any ski where I need like a beast of a weapon to get the job done. The Whitewalker's really been my go-to choice. So in this video, we're gonna talk about the Whitewalker 116. This is the 2024 model, and this one is the 2025 model. Share my own personal experience with this ski, what I think makes it unique, and just kind of talk about some of the differences between this ski and maybe something like the JJ. And one last point before we get started, I am in no way affiliated with Armada. Paid for these skis on my own, and these are all just my honest opinions on the ski. So if you're not familiar with Sammy Carlson, I recommend you take some time to check out some of his videos so you can see not only the athlete behind this ski, but just sort of where the innovation, where this ski is kind of birthed from. I think it really comes through in someone like Sammy Carlson's ski style, how he likes to ski, how he kind of surfs his way and almost paints a picture down the mountain. This is his signature ski. Now this ski is 116 millimeter underfoot, so it really is a dedicated powder ski with a pretty standard side cut. It's about 139 millimeters at the tip and 135 down at the tail. New to the 2025 model, it now comes in a 175 centimeter in length, so I think is a really popular length for sort of the average height. It also comes in a 185, which is this, and then finally the 192. The core of this ski is the Karuba core, which is honestly different than a lot of the ARV lineup, which is on the Poplar Ash core. So the Karuba core is Armada's lightest weight wood. It's softer, it doesn't weigh as much as the Poplar Ash that you'll find in the ARVs and stuff, but I think that it is this Karuba core that makes it so vibrant, lively, and really just all around fun to ski on. The Karuba core makes it incredibly easy to get the ski sideways, slash your way down the mountain, but it's also great for something like touring if you use this as a touring ski, or even strapping these on your back and hiking around the resort, around the mountain. Having a lightweight ski like the Whitewalker because of that Karuba core has a lot of benefits. The overall profile of this ski follows Armada's conventional freestyle rocker, which just means that it is fully rockered at the tip and tail with some camber underneath the foot. Again, something that you would see in one of these all wood POW type skis. Having the rocker at the tip and also at the tail just gives you that much more float when you're skiing deep POW, and also makes it easier if you're doing switch type landing, skiing switch, to have that advantage of the full twin tip and full rocker, but also the camber underneath the foot allows you to also get the ski on edge, hold an edge, and be versatile enough to ski yourself around the resort. But as I mentioned, this really is a POW ski, so it has a lot of rocker, not as much camber underneath the foot. So I wouldn't really recommend this ski as like an all mountain cruiser because there's a lot of drawbacks with having the full tip and tail rocker, not as much camber underneath the foot, but that's kind of a discussion for another video. However, the overall rocker profile of this ski is one that sort of tailors to powder skiing, but still allows you to get around the mountain. And lastly, in one of probably the most notable differences with the Whitewalker compared to something like the ARV lineup is the pin, tip, and tail. Not only does it have the coveted smear tech and sort of edgeless tip and tail that you will find not only in a lot of the Armadas, but a ski also like the Atomic Ben Chetler, the pin-shaped tip and tail just allows you to be able to deflect more choppy snow as you're going down it, and I think is another thing that allows for that very buttery paintbrush type feeling when using this ski. So I think it's a combination of all of these features that makes the Armada Whitewalker 116 an extremely fun and honestly viable ski to use in nearly any condition. But when I say any condition, I don't mean like a full ice hard packed day. Again, this isn't the ski you're gonna be taking out, but for the most part, for the stuff I like to ski, I find that this is a useful tool in just about anything. I was fortunate enough to use this ski in a lot of different conditions, including straight up POW skiing, just some regular Bluebird groomer type skiing, even some heli skiing, tree skiing, just about anything other than some really wet slush type skiing, to be honest. And I think the thing that Armada really nailed with this ski is the overall flex profile. A term that gets thrown around a lot is sort of the playfulness, how soft or how stiff it is. And I feel like that can, one, all kind of be relative, and two, it's like, what does that stuff really mean for a ski to be playful? What does it mean to be soft? You know, like there needs to be some sort of standard or benchmark for that stuff to make sense. So what I like about this ski, especially compared to something like the ARV JJ, for instance, is that it's actually stiffer than the JJ, which I think was kind of counterintuitive because it's on the Caruba core, which is in turn kind of a softer wood. I find that whatever Armada did for this, the stiffest part of the ski is actually underneath the foot. And this is really beneficial for getting the ski on edge, holding the edge, jumping off stuff, having that rigidity right underneath the foot where most of your weight distribution is, really allows you to power through the ski and feel like you have a solid platform underneath you. But where the fun element comes in is that it actually softens up on the tip and tail. So while it's firm underneath your foot, it actually kind of softens up on the edges of the ski, which allow you to slash the ski sideways, to be able to butter around, to have this sort of interesting type swing weight with the ski, where again, something like the ARV JJ, it's a pretty uniform type flex profile. It's kind of the same flex or softness or stiffness all the way throughout the ski. So I found that the Armada Whitewalker gave me the rigidity and stability that I was kind of looking for, that you don't always find in a POW ski, but still had elements of a really fun all wood rockered POW ski, if that makes sense. I think it does. Furthermore, and perhaps one of the elements that I was most impressed with the Armada Whitewalker 116 was just how quiet the ski is when skiing groomers. Again, comparing it back to my JJ 116, the ski has a lot of chatter, meaning because of the sort of all wood nature, the rocker tips and tails, when you're on hard pack skiing around the mountain, you get a lot of noise, chatter. The tips and tails are kind of flapping around, which just leads to instability. You don't have as much effective edge, blah, blah, blah. But with these, I found that the ski is a lot quieter. It's just straight up better for groomer skiing than the JJ. So not only can you take this in deep snow, jump off cliffs and all that sort of stuff, it honestly holds an edge and carves very well for a 116 underfoot POW dedicated ski. I honestly felt like this ski kind of acted like a chameleon in a sense, where it almost didn't matter what conditions I brought it out in within the scope of kind of what it's good at. And it seemed to perform really well. Not only is it great at skiing POW, I was able to ski around the mountain, ski the crud and the choppy stuff as the POW dried up throughout the day. But there's also times where I just took this out because I like skiing a 116 on a groomer day, and it seemed to hold its own. Like, again, it's not gonna perform as well as a dedicated, 92 underfoot skinny ski with titanium in it. But if you're looking for something that can really do a lot, and maybe you're not as focused on the groomers and stuff like that, I think this was a pretty cool option. And lastly, it had a lot of elements of freestyle skiing in it, which is kind of where, some of my background came from moguls and park skiing. So still having that fun, playful park vibe to it is only a plus when it adds to sort of just the fun factor of skiing, which is why I do it in the first place. I'm just trying to enjoy myself. And I think these skis really add to that dimension. Now, despite all the praise I just gave the Armada Whitewalker, no ski is perfect, and there were just a few things that I thought this ski kind of lacked or was a bit inferior to the JJ, for example, and maybe some other skis. And the first point is actually the pin, tip, and tail, that I thought was really fun and allowed for some advantages. I think one of the disadvantages with the pin, tip, and tail was that it seemed to struggle a little bit more floating in deep snow. Now, while I think this shape made it a little quieter on groomers, I do think somewhere like the JJ has a slight edge over this ski is in deep snow, because it has the traditional more sort of shovel type tip. And it seemed to be able to float and come out of the snow a little bit better than the pin, tip, and tail. So kind of a give and take there. I think what makes the pin, tip, and tail cool and fun also has its drawbacks in terms of when you really get in deep snow, sometimes having a little bit wider shovel would keep that ski afloat a little bit more. But again, kind of a nominal thing, but something I did notice with the ski. And then lastly, again, something that makes the ski great, the Caruba core, I have found is just not as durable. It's not as resilient of a wood. And a lot of times with the resort skiing, you are taking the ski in and out of your car, right? You are hitting logs and stumps. People are sort of tripping over it on the lift line. And so the Caruba core is just a little bit lighter, and it also has the smaller edge profile. This is a 1.7 edge compared to the Armada ARVs, which are typically a 2.5. So again, those things all make this ski super light and lively and vibrant. But along that comes some drawbacks of just general durability concerns. where if you're hard on your skis, you know, if you're skiing every single day at the resort, maybe the Poplar Ash and the thicker edge of the ARV lineup would be a little bit better. But I mean, I haven't had these skis really fall apart at all last year. They obviously have like the standard dings and stuff, but yeah, just some things that make the ski really fun, also have some considerable drawbacks in my opinion as well. So all that to say, in conclusion, there really are a lot of great options outside of the Whitewalker that fit in this category. Some things that just come to mind are, you know, the Atomic Ben Chetler is a pretty similar ski. The K2 Reckoner, I believe, does a great job. And also even the Moment Death Wish is similar in some areas, but the list kind of goes on and on. So what I think truly makes this ski just unique and fun is just how versatile it is at 116 millimeter underfoot for all the reasons that I mentioned. And at the end of the day, just adds that extra layer of fun, that dimension of skiing that me personally, I haven't really experienced too much with my other skis. I feel like I had that with the JJ. That was why I loved the JJ so much initially. I was like, man, I just have fun on this ski. I just like skiing the ski. And I feel like that kind of got reignited with the Whitewalker series. Ultimately, I think this ski is really for someone who wants a dedicated type powder ski, but also wants something that's jibby, poppy, vibrant, lively, something that kind of feels exciting underneath your foot. I think this is a really good option to go for the 2024-2025 season. So at the end of the day, if I could only take one Armada from all of these Armadas behind me, it's honestly going to be the 116 Whitewalker. New to me this year is the 2025 version. However, this is a 192 in length. You can tell it is a little bit longer than my 185. So I'm going to be stepping up in size, seeing if I like the longer platform, but I'm excited either way to be on the Whitewalkers again for this season. Both in the 116 and the 121s behind me. So let me know your thoughts if you've tried the Whitewalker, if you have the JJ, or if you have some questions. I'll do my best to answer it. Again, these are just my opinions. I could be way off the mark, but I'm just kind of going based on what I feel. So thanks for watching that video. I'll see you guys out there on the hill. Peace out.